Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be bringing to you the best dinos to tame on Scorched. Let me just throw my usual disclaimer out there. I've put in this list, in my opinion, the best dinos that you can tame on Scorched itself. There may well be better dinos that you can bring over from other maps, but this list is purely for Scorched Earth. I'm in the process of doing every map for this, so if you want to check that out, go and have a look on my channel. And as always guys, thank you so much for the continued support. We're growing every day and it's amazing. Remember when Genesis 2 comes out, I'm going to be doing a PvP series. I may even do a single player playthrough. We'll see. I'm also going to be bringing out loads of new tips for the map. So if that sounds good and you're new around here, consider subscribing. It's a nice place to be. But that's enough of me yakking. Let's get into the video. Number 1. To kick this list off, we have a dino that would normally be overlooked on most maps, the Marellatops. So why are these on the Scorched Earth list, you may ask? Well, when you put Marellatops in water, it can gain and store up to 750 points in water. Now the reason this is important is because water can be difficult to get on Scorched Earth, especially early game. So if you have Marellatops with you, or sitting around your base, you can keep topping up your water storages on that, and that means you only need to go out and leave your base to fill the Marellatops up every so often, instead of going every single time you need water. You can fill up your usual drink containers like water skins, water jars or canteens, and you can also drink directly from the Marellatops. All of these features are obviously very handy, and they help to minimise what is usually quite an annoying thing early game on this game. They're definitely not the fastest dinos, but they're also not the slowest, and as long as it's not a low level, it will be strong enough to defend itself against most things. It has quite a slow attack, but also deals a massive knockback, which makes the smaller predators of the map a lot easier to deal with. Number 2. For every map, you need the fastest flyer you can get, and obviously on Scorched Earth, that is the Firewire then. These guys will allow you to get around the map with ease, and due to the map's crazy weather conditions, sometimes you need to get back to base pronto. These guys will also play another extremely important role on this map, and that is for killing deathworms. There are a lot of deathworms on Scorched Earth. Killing one of these guys will grant you a massive amount of XP. It's also the only way you're going to get black pearls on this map, so if you want to get far on this, you're going to need to kill deathworms. Now fire wyverns are great for deathworms, because deathworms don't like fire. If you're accurate, you can actually burn the deathworms while they're still underground on a fire wyvern, and you can kill them with taking little to no damage at all. You just need to wait for them to come out the ground, move back so that you're not in attack range for them, hit them a couple times with fire breath and then go underground, and then you can move behind them. Once they burrow to you and come out the ground again, you can just repeat until it's dead. The deathworm horns also have a use, but we'll get into that in a minute. If you know, you know. Number 3. So we have a fast flyer. We need a fast land dino. For this list, I've added the Direwolf. These guys aren't quite the fastest land dino, but they're definitely not far from it. Couple that with the fact that they're relatively easy to tame and you don't need a saddle with them, and it makes it a wise choice for this map. You can level them as you want, but you can make them have quite a lot of weight, which is very handy, especially early game. You can make them fast. They're obviously not very tanky without a saddle, and with a good few points leveled into melee damage, they're also very strong. On top of that, they also get a pack bonus, so if you tame more than one, you'll gain extra buffs. And as you can see, if you add a few high levels, there's not a lot that will kill you on these. Probably their biggest weakness, despite not having a saddle, is that they have quite a small bite range, so you're kind of vulnerable from the air. Nevertheless, these are still a great dino to have, and you shouldn't have any issues navigating the map once you've got yourself a Direwolf. They also have something that's called Hunter's Instinct. That means they can sniff out dead or dinos with less than 50% health. It's indicated by the icon on the screen, and the colour it is determines roughly how much health they have. Also, the pack leader can make an extra buff on top of their pack buff. This lasts a minute and a half and then has a 2-minute cooldown on it, but this is going to make your direwolves extremely strong, and you will seriously be amazed at how much damage these guys can do if you have a few of them. Also, these guys have the ability to sniff out buried dinos as well as explorer notes, so you can use these to get around the map and get all the explorer notes if you want the XP. Number 4. If you were listening earlier, you'll recall what I said about deathworm horns. These horns are needed to tame Mantis. Now, in terms of farming for bullets or gunpowder in general, the Mantis is going to be your best friend on Scorched Earth. In case you didn't know, you can equip Mantis with weapons like pickaxes, hatchets, swords, etc. You can then ride them and they'll harvest for you. They will also harvest this a lot better than you will, so So if you level them up in a lot of weight, take yourself and your Mantis down to some flint rocks and begin mining, you are going to have flint and stone for days. You could also follow on behind with an RG if you want to allow you to keep on transferring your flint across, and you will never run out of your spark powder with a Mantis. Number 5. Now it just had to be on this list, we have the Jabar. Despite these guys being one of the most deadly creatures on Ark, one of the most intimidating creatures on Ark, one of the strongest creatures on Ark, with eyes that are rumoured to turn men into stone, and with ears that if you look into, you can actually see the depths of hell, they actually have a really handy use on this map. Scorched Earth can have 3 crazy different weather changes, and that is a heat wave, a sandstorm, and an electrical storm. Now there's certain situations, and actually a lot of situations, where you do not want to be caught out in the open against one of these, and your Jabar will warn you about this before this happens. It will warn you by giving you different animations. Now take note here of the animation that it does. So it will look up to its right, look up to the sky, it will then crouch back down, look to this left, scratch its head, then eat a booger and scratch his right ear. So this is the usual animation for the Jabar. Take note of this, and if he does any other animation, get back to base quick, and then take note of what happens to the environment then. On top of this trick, they also have another very handy tool. That is that it can massively reduce the weight of items once it's in its inventory. Now I won't physically show this, so let me show you an example. My weight right now is around 90. If I put this sand in the Jabar's inventory, it will weigh the same amount in his inventory. My inventory is then 60, which is what it would normally be reduced by. But when I pick the Jabar up, my inventory is now half of what it would have been if the sand was in my inventory, not the Jabar's. So you can obviously store all your heavy items in your Jabar if you need to run somewhere, and it's going to pretty much double the weight that you can carry. Very handy, especially early game when you haven't got a big dino or a good flyer to carry all your stuff. Number 6. For this spot, we have the Vulture. It's true, every creature in Ark has a unique ability. So the Vulture can sit on your shoulder, and if you're close, it can attack back dinos that hit you whilst it's sat on your shoulder. This could be very handy to stack with if you're killing something with a melee weapon, and because it's sat on your shoulder, you can just level all its points into a little bit of health and loads of melee damage, so they can actually be pretty strong. On top of that, the spoil timer for food in a Vulture's inventory is hugely multiplied. As you can see on me, this meat will last 9 minutes, whereas on the Vulture it will last 2 hours 14. To counter you using this as a mobile fridge, unfortunately you can't put food in its inventory. It will only have food that is harvested itself, and it will harvest this as you're stood on top of the dino that you've just killed. So maybe you're thinking, why do I want that? One word, Madon. So you can use your Vulture to harvest your mutton for you, and that again is going to last you 2 hours. So if you're looking for certain good carnivores to tame, the Vulture is going to seriously help you out. And that's not just on Scorched Earth, that's on any map. It will eliminate the need on certain dinos for you to keep them knocked out whilst a tribe mate goes and gets you some mutton. That's going to wrap it up for this video. I really hope it's helped some of you out. If it has, please be sure to leave a like, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing, it's a nice place to be. But for now, this has been the best dinos to tame on Scorched Earth. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.